Okay, well, welcome to this Energetic NLP Coach-a-thon. And I'll explain how it all works in a moment. And I want to be clear that we're going to get the energy going. It'll be working with everybody the entire time. And you have an opportunity to raise your hand or put something in the chat, though raising your hand is probably better. And I can give you individual focus time. And the energy will be working with all of you the entire time. And I'll explain how that can work. And by the way, if you put something in the chat, if it's not short, I'm not going to be able to read it. I'm not that good of a multitasker. So just know that more than a couple of sentences, I just have to ignore it, unfortunately. So brief. And so we're going to be doing, let me start back. So the energy processes will be working with everybody the entire time, and there'll be an opportunity to get focus, individual focus time. That's actually an advantage to all of you, because when I'm focusing on one person, that person will bring things up that a lot of other people will have something similar or something related. And in energy work, it's called lighting you up. What it means is something gets activated in you, so it's easier to clear. People call it lighting up because when you're looking at somebody's energy, you can see the energy shift. It may get darker, it doesn't necessarily get lighter, but it gets activated so you can see it. And in the same way that gets activated for you. And please make sure if you're doing the chat, that it's set on everyone, unless it is a private message to me. Make sure it's set on everyone. And either way, the messages need to be really short. Again, I can't read and lead the program. So you can come and go whenever you want. I hope you can stay the whole time. And if you can only stay part of the time, that's fine too. So in a moment, I'm going to explain just a little bit about what energetic NLP is, because some of you are new. We'll talk about a couple of concepts that are really important and critical for the work. And then we'll do a group meditation. And then I'll start doing individual meditations. We'll go back to group meditations, individual meditations, and it'll go back and forth. And again, please don't send me a private message unless you really need it to be private, because I have to reset mine every time you do that, because it now sets mine on private. So if you really need to make it private, go ahead. Otherwise, please just make it to everybody, and I will be looking at it. And so I'm Art Geiser. I'm the creator of Energetic NLP. And Energetic NLP brings together some of the best of neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, along with spiritual principles, healing and transformative energy work, intuition development, psychic development, channeling, clairvoyance. And I've been doing this close to 40 years now, a long time, since 1985, but actually started in 1983, but I've been an NLP trainer since 1985. And NLP was developed in the 70s in California, and it's been developed continuously ever since. But it was started as an alternative to traditional psychology, because at the time, psychology was mostly about insight and the idea that if you knew how you got the way you were, what your mom did, what your dad did, what the kid down the block did, that it would give you insight. And over years, that would change your deep patterns. In that system, they would talk about, I remember a psychologist telling me that to make really deep changes, she needed to work with somebody for at least 5 years. And yet there were some therapists, and she was a really good therapist, but there were some therapists who did it differently and could get really rapid changes with people. So the people who started NLP started studying 5 or 6 therapists who got magical changes with people. And out of that, they developed NLP, which again, a very, very powerful system, both for working with problems, but also to take on new skills, abilities. So some of it's about problem solving, and some of it's just about personal evolution. And I discovered early on that NLP was incredible at some things, and it had its limitations like anything else. Spiritual principles were incredible at some things, had their limitations. Transformative energy work was incredible at some things, had its limitations. But when I started weaving them together, you had something that was much more effective and powerful than any of those systems by themselves. So there's a couple of concepts that are unique to energetic NLP that are important for you to know as we get into this. And one is something called your miraculous self. Your miraculous self. Now, this is different than your high self. A lot of people want to mush them together, two different concepts. Your high self just exists. Your miraculous self only kind of sort of exists until you start working with it. And your miraculous self is formed when your spirit, with its vast awareness, becomes deeply aligned and in collaboration with your deep inner human wisdom. So your deep inner human wisdom is very practical. Your spirit, it cares about your human life and loves you, but it sees such a big picture on everything. It just sees things differently than you do in your human life. In many ways, your spirit's like the perfect parent. It gives you a lot of permission to have different life paths. Some of those life paths will make you really happy. Some will make you very unhappy. And it's not that your spirit doesn't care, because your spirit deeply cares about your human life. It's just giving you a lot of permission. So when your spirit becomes deeply aligned and working with your deep inner human wisdom, you grow personally and spiritually, and you do it in a way that makes your life happier, more successful, more meaningful. And I want to be clear, this is kind of, in many ways, I'm kind of a new agey guy, but some parts of the new age get silly. And, a lot of people, and I understand why, want to believe if you just visualize things correctly and do everything correctly, nothing bad will ever happen to you or anybody you love or care about. Well, good luck with that. It doesn't tend to be a human life. We get challenges in our life, but a lot of those challenges didn't need to be there. So in energetic NLP, we are clearing karma and programming and spiritual contracts and conscious and unconscious beliefs that create problems and challenges in our lives that don't need to be there. And when there are challenges in your life, your miraculous self, your spirit and wisdom working together can guide you, nurture you, heal you, and help you manifest. And it completely changes things. When you're going through a challenge in life, you've all had that experience where sometimes you feel like the foundation under you is shaky. And it's an entirely different thing when you're challenged, but you feel like your foundation is solid. So the goal in energetic NLP is that you have this solid spiritual foundation so that no matter what's happening in your life, you know that you'll be guided, nurtured, supported, and protected. So in a moment, we'll create your miraculous self. We'll set our group energy space. We'll do some group meditation together. Then I'll be doing individual coaching. We'll do some more group meditation. We'll go back and forth. I also at times will be talking about the program coming up this weekend, starting Saturday, called Discover Your Miraculous Abilities. And it's one of my favorite programs to lead. And I was just working with some of the people who are going to be coaching on that program, because there'll be coaching available for you there too, in individual one-on-one coaching. And, so many of them were talking about how it changed their lives and how Discover Your Miraculous Abilities, one of their favorite programs. We call it DYMA for short. So like the initials, Discover Your Miraculous Abilities, DYMA or DYMA. And it's like 3 days of clearing unconscious blocks, karma, spiritual contracts, ancestral programming, energetic programming, and opening up your abilities to work with transformative energies for yourself and others. And at the end of the 3 days, you'll be able to use energy to work with your own life and to help other people when you want to. And in terms of helping other people, you don't have to be like a therapist or a healer to use it. A lot of us use it in corporate work. We use it with friends, families. You can use it everywhere in life. And by the end of the 3 days, you'll not only be able to do that in person with people, but you'll be able to do it remotely like I do with people, because it's actually easy to do it remotely with people. It takes 3 days because I want to make sure you do it safely in a way that's respectful for you and for the other people, and that you really develop some energy habits over the 3 days that'll just improve your life ongoingly. And you will learn some simple, powerful techniques that you can use for the rest of your life to keep enhancing your life, working with challenges, and again, helping other people. Thank you, Nandini, put in the chat. Time is the best. Expect transformation in a weekend. I like that. Expect transformation in a weekend. Thank you, Nandini. And I read some of these out because if you're watching this later, anybody or somebody is watching this on YouTube or something, they're not going to see the chat. So one couple of other concepts. There's one called whole being permission. And this is unique to energetic NLP, whole being permission. And we're taught a lot that we should visualize what we want, which is a great technique, but it's just a piece of what's going on. You're not just your conscious mind. You have a spirit, you have a soul, you have a conscious mind, you have an unconscious mind, you have a body. And all of those different aspects of you have agendas. Your spirit has an agenda for your life. Your soul has one. Your conscious mind has one. Your unconscious mind often has more than one. Your body has its own agenda. And then within that, you're existing in your karmic field, in the field of your spiritual contracts, which are agreements your spirit or soul has made with other people or groups or religions or nationalities. And all of those things create spiritual cages that we're inside of. And I call them cages because they do limit us, but they're not bad or wrong. It's part of the human condition. The opportunity, though, is to open up the cages and to be able to be more authentic, to live a more miraculous life, and to open up more and more of your amazing, miraculous abilities that everybody has, And Barbara said that time is easy and fun, as well as deep and substantially transformative. Thank you again. Yeah, we try to keep it easy and fun. I'm not saying emotions may not come up at times, but my personal belief is that transformation doesn't have to be hard work, doesn't have to be serious. That very often, by being more playful with it, you get a lot more out of it. And one thing, again, that's unique about Daima is that everybody puts their own miraculous self in charge of what happens for them. So my job, and some of the people from the M Club and stuff will be helping too, is we're bringing in a whole symphony of energies. Your miraculous self, your wisdom and spirit, will decide which energies it wants to use and what it wants to do with them. What blocks, programming, karma, contracts it wants to dissolve or change or revise. And then your miraculous self immediately replaces them with wisdom, knowledge, concepts, skills, abilities, attitudes, and behaviors from your miraculous self. And that is just downloaded into you from your own spirit and wisdom. So in the same way that you download a new program into a computer or a phone or a tablet, your miraculous self can download new, more miraculous ways of being into you. And because it's coming from your spirit and your wisdom, you don't need to check it. You don't need to be conscious of it. You can just let it in. So we're going to have 3 amazing days. And so let's get back to whole being permission. And for right now, we're not going to be able to work on aligning every aspect of you. We do that in Daima. So for what we're doing right now, we're going to emphasize conscious permission. So for everything we're doing, you'll set your intention, whatever you want your intention to be. You'll add the magic phrase or better. Why do I call that the magic phrase? You've all had experiences in life where you wanted something and then something even better turned up. So when you set your intention, if you add or better, you're giving your miraculous self permission to manifest something that's better than what you had in mind, better than what you thought was possible, or maybe just something completely different. And so you'll set your intention, you'll add the or better, you'll give 100% permission to receive the benefits, because intention and permission do not automatically run together. You would think they would, but they don't. So you set your intention, you give permission to receive it, you then give permission for your miraculous self to be in charge, and then you just relax and let the magic happen. When you're relaxing, the key to getting the most out of this is just to use your imagination. So when you were a child, you played imaginary games. You were a singer, an actor or actress, an athlete, president or prime minister, whatever your fantasies were, an astronaut. And when you were playing those games, you knew they weren't real, and you weren't even concerned about that. It was just, you were just pretending. You were using your imagination. In the same way, when these processes are going on and when you're being coached, just imagine that energy is coming in and miraculously transforming your life. You don't even have to believe it's true. Just imagine it's happening. And then later you can analyze it, to your heart's content. While it's going on, though, just pretend that it's happening. And when you pretend, it does two things. It opens up your unconscious mind and opens up the enormous abilities we have in our unconscious mind. And it does the same thing with your spirit. It opens this portal, this doorway for your spirit to do things that are magical and miraculous. And if you're like me, part of your mind's liable to be analyzing things. So don't suppress that. Just turn down the volume. Don't fight it or feed it. And just imagine these energies are coming in. My life is being enhanced. And then you'll get the most out of it if you do that. So now we can get into the fun part. So we're going to do a group meditation first, and then we'll go into the individual coaching. So take an easy, deep breath, or 2 or 3. Relax your jaw, relax your shoulders, relax your tongue. It's funny, when you relax your tongue, your body relaxes. I'll describe things as visualizations. If you're a good visualizer, great. If you're not a good visualizer, just imagine that you're visualizing it. Just pretend you are. Because your unconscious mind, when you do that, will visualize it. So if you see it in your mind's eye, great. If you just imagine you're seeing it in your mind's eye, it works every bit as well. So take a couple of easy, deep breaths. And at times I'll use terms like your spirit, your deep inner human wisdom, your essence. And part of your mind may go, well, what is my essence? What is my spirit? The good news is you can relax about all that. Your spirit knows what it is. It knows what your deep inner human wisdom is. It knows what your essence is. So just let your spirit figure all of this out. So right now, say hello to your spirit. Say hello to your deep inner human wisdom. Set your intention that your spirit and your deep inner human wisdom are now joining together to create your miraculous self. So they're now going to work together to make your life happier, healthier, more successful, more vital, more loving, more meaningful, easier, more fun, more joyful. And just imagine, just pretend that your miraculous self is being formed now. It is being formed, but just pretend it is. And those of you who've done this before with me, imagine that your miraculous self is evolving, that its ability to communicate with your conscious mind, your unconscious mind, and your body is getting better and better and better. Easy, deep breaths. And now just pretend you have a miraculous self. As easy as that you have one. And look around the room that you're in now. And if you're outside, just imagine the space around you, like pick an area. Or if you're in a very big room, if you happen to be at a train station or airport, just imagine a space around you. And the space around you isn't empty. It's full of energy. So we want to set your energy space. When you learn to more and more set the energy space of wherever you are, that alone will make your life lots better. And if you've ever studied science at all, you know that solid matter isn't actually solid. The molecules and the atoms are spaced out. And most of us is actually empty space, which even like steel is mostly empty space. It's denser than your body, but it's still mostly empty space. So everything is potentially a sponge and can absorb things. So just look around the room you're in and just imagine that like a sponge, the ceiling, the walls, the windows are absorbing universal gold energy. Gold energy is a very neutral, very spiritual, very powerful energy. And just imagine, pretend that like a sponge, the ceiling, the windows, the walls are all absorbing gold energy. Because energy follows your thought and intention. Energy follows your thought and intention. So when you pretend it's happening, it actually happens. And again, if you're outside or in a big space, you can imagine like there's a bubble around you, and that bubble is turning into gold energy. And then the floor of wherever you are, imagine it's now soaking up Mother Earth, Mother Nature energies. Even if you're in a city, deep below you, there are Mother Earth, Mother Nature energies. So just imagine they're coming up and filling the floor that you're in, the floor of the room that you're in. So imagine now you're in this energy space, this gold box or gold ball of energy with this earth energy at the bottom. And imagine there's an energy magnet outside the space you're in. And just imagine it's pulling out of the room any energies that aren't yours and aren't helpful. So let go of the whole positive, negative, good, bad. We're just going to, the energies are yours or they're not. And if they're not yours, they're helpful or they're not. So energies that aren't yours and aren't helpful are just going off to that magnet. Now, some of the energies are yours, but they don't belong in present time. They're like past painful energies from traumas and painful experiences. And imagine those energies are going off to the magnet too, because they don't belong in present time. And then let that magnet drop into the earth, and the earth will just transmute and recycle those energies. And then imagine the room you're in is filling up with a whole rainbow of beautiful energies that are helpful. And just imagine that your miraculous self is in charge of all of this. Excellent. So you're now creating the energy space around you. Now let's create our group energy space. Imagine a giant gold ball of energy. And it's our Energetic NLP Coach-a-thon Energy Spa space. And we call these energy spas because there's no effort involved, just intention, permission, and then like getting a massage, you just relax and let the magic happen. So intention, permission to receive the benefits, permission for your miraculous self to be in charge, and your miraculous self will use the energies to enhance your life. So we're now all in this gold ball of energy wherever we are in the world. And set your intention that this space is a space of miracles, a space of magic, a space where it's easy to let go of old programming, limiting beliefs, ancestral programming, societal programming, unconscious programming, energetic programming, karma, spiritual contracts. That this is a space where it's easy for those to be dissolved. And as soon as any of that gets dissolved, it's a space where it's easy for your miraculous self to download into you wisdom, knowledge, concepts, skills, abilities, attitudes, and behaviors that will make your life more and more miraculous, more successful, happier, joyful, vital, healthy, loving, loved, purposeful, authentic. add in anything else you want to add in. And then think about some of the goals and outcomes you have for your life. And imagine each one is like a little drop of energy in front of you. It could be one for your health, one for your work, career, abundance, affluence, spiritual growth, love, relationships, family, whatever you want. Just put little drops of energy in front of you, representing the goals that you have in your life. And then let those drops of energy float up so they're near the top of this gold ball of energy that we're inside. And let's all set our intention that the entire time that we're together, energy is working to help all of us manifest those goals or something better. So it's in the background. All of those goals will be being worked on while we're working together. And then if there's anybody that you'd like us to be sending a healing to in the background, and everything's permission-based, but if anybody that you'd like us to send a healing to, put a tiny drop of their energy out in front of you. And imagine you can talk to them spiritually, spirit to spirit, and just let them know that if they'd like a healing, they're welcome to have a healing in the background while we're all working. And their miraculous self will be in charge of what happens for them, not what you think they need. And let those little drops of energy float up to the top of our space so that, again, in the background, while we're working, all of them will be receiving healings to the extent that they want them. Excellent. And now set your intentions for what you would like to have improved in your life as a result of what we're doing today. So you can either think in terms of problems being improved or eliminated. You can think of things that you want more of, more enhancement. You can think of both. Just set your intentions for how your life is going to be improved. And then take a moment and think about when that happens, when your life is improved that way, what will the benefits be in your life? What will your life be like? So maybe you want less anxiety. What will it be like to go through a day with less anxiety and more confidence, more security, more solidness? Maybe you want more love in your life. What will it be like to go through your day feeling more loved? Or abundance, prosperity, meaningful work, whatever's on your mind. Okay, easy deep breaths. And give 100% permission to receive those benefits or something better. Give 100% permission for your miraculous self to be in charge. And then take a few easy deep breaths and just imagine this whole symphony of energies is coming in to the room you're in and into your body, into your energy field. And the energies that are coming in are guided and controlled by your miraculous self, dissolving blocks and things that limit your life and replacing them with wisdom, knowledge, concepts, skills, abilities, attitudes, and behaviors from your miraculous self. Now, a lot of you know about the 7 chakras. There are a lot more than 7 chakras, and a lot of them are in your body, but some of them go up above your head, going up at least 3 meters, 9 feet. Some of them are in your energy field below your feet, going down at least a meter, 3 feet. And lightly put your attention on from the top of your head going up, roughly 3 meters, 9 feet. And just imagine right now, energy is coming in, working with all of those chakras. Those chakras set the big outlines of your life. They're very, very important. They do more than that, but they're super important. And just imagine the energy is coming through and working with all of your chakras to help you achieve your intentions or something better. So the chakras are being cleared and healed and reprogrammed for you to have a more miraculous and wonderful life. Imagine some of the energies going through your entire body and energy field, clearing out old, painful, emotional energies. A lot of those emotional energies won't even be yours. They'll be other people's. But just let your miraculous self figure it out. And let it go through your cells, your DNA, the organs in your body, the body systems, through the chakras, the energy channels in your energy field, just clearing out old emotional energies that either aren't yours or were yours, but they don't belong in present time. So painful experiences when you were 5 years old, you don't need that energy in your field anymore. That can leave now. It doesn't belong here. And while the energy continues to work above your head and continues to gently and powerfully clear out old emotional energies, it's now coming into your head. And there's a number of chakras that are in your head and they go around your head. And your spirit, your miraculous self knows all about them. So just imagine all the chakras in and around your head are getting a wonderful healing. The ones inside your head, the ones in your forehead, the back of the skull, the top of the head, above and around your head. Easy, deep breaths. While all that continues, the energy is coming into the throat chakra, clearing and healing it. Both on a physical and energetic level. While all that continues, the energy is coming into your heart chakra in the center of your chest, clearing and healing your heart chakra. And you might want to set your intention that it's opening you up to receiving more love, both love from people, but also love, divine love. There's infinite divine love. And when you open up to that, it starts transforming your life. There's also love from the earth itself. You can open up to that, along with love from humans and animals, plants. While all that continues, the energy is coming down to your solar plexus below your sternum. That's also known as the third chakra. So the seventh is on top of your head, the crown, the sixth are the chakras in and around your head. The throat is the fifth, the heart is the fourth, solar plexus is the third. While all that continues, the energy goes through your abdomen, and there are a number of chakras in your abdomen. Each organ has a chakra, but also there's the belly button chakra, which is inside the body, the Ming Meng, which is near the spine, and there's other chakras too. And again, your spirit knows all about them. So just let your miraculous self and the energy work with all your internal organs and the chakras. While all that continues, the second chakra is below the navel. Let that be worked on, cleared, and healed. And that's one of the places where we can really store a lot of other people's emotional energy. So let's clear that out. And again, we're not clearing out energies because they're bad or negative. We're clearing out energies that aren't yours and aren't helpful, or energies that are yours and don't belong in present time. These old painful energies. And the energy continues down to the base of your spine, working with the root chakra, the sacral chakra. Again, clearing and healing them. Opening up your ability to be supported by the physical world, by the universe. There's numerous chakras and energy channels in your shoulders, arms, hands, fingers, the palms of your hands. So just imagine energy is working with your arms, your hands, your fingers, working with the energy channels and the chakras. Clearing them, healing them, reprogramming them for a more miraculous life. While all that continues, the energy's going below the base of your spine through your legs. And similar to your arms and hands and fingers, your legs and your feet and your toes and the soles of your feet all have energy channels and chakras in them. So they're all being cleared and healed and reset and reprogrammed for a more miraculous life. And the energy is working with the chakras in your energy field, but below your feet. And they have a lot to do with your connection to the animal world, the plant world, and deeper connections to the earth and to all that is on that physical level. So those chakras are being cleared, healed, reprogrammed, activated. And then your aura and energy field, it's in you and it's around you in all directions, above and below, front, behind, left, right. Let the energy work through your whole aura, clearing it, healing it, reactivating it. Our energy fields, our auras get beat up. They get ripped up, they get holes in them, they get rough parts. So the energy is just coming in, repairing your aura and reactivating it, reprogramming it for a more miraculous life. Okay, let's bring in some energy that will help you process and integrate the benefits of what you just did. And let's let some nice sparkling energy come in. And go ahead and start wiggling your fingers and toes. It's really good to stomp your feet, pat your body, lightly stretch and move. As you realign your energy body, your physical body wants to realign. It's hard for it to do that if you don't move a little bit. Just be nice to your body and whatever's comfortable for you. And again, stomping your feet, patting your body, it helps bring you back. You can even sort of pump your arms like you were running. Now, in a moment, I'm going to start calling on people for individual coaching. And keep in mind, the energy is working with everybody the whole time. Oh, and I'll remind you, if you put a long message in, you can be guaranteed I'm not going to read it because I can't read anything other than a short message and lead everybody. And the energy will be working with all of you the whole time. Your miraculous self is in charge and you'll be getting benefits the whole time. You get more out of it by also having other people individually coached. And it took me a while I'd heard this, but it took me a while to really get how true it was, because people bring things up that you wouldn't have brought up, that resonate in you, and it actually enhances things. We get in this resonance together. So when somebody brings something up, as they're releasing energy, it makes it easier for you to release energy. So easy, deep breaths. And let me start by calling on Julia. Oh, and let me comment on that. Somebody put in, it's very emotional today for me. And thank you for the short message. When you're doing this kind of energy work, one of the things we want to do is to release stored emotions. Most of that emotional energy isn't even yours. You would be shocked at how much of the emotional energy that you experience isn't yours. You've been absorbing other people's emotional energy since you were in the womb. And if you believe in past lives, you brought emotional energy in from then too. And you have emotional energy that's been passed down through your family. So when you release emotional energy, sometimes you don't notice it, it's just gone. Other times you feel it on the way out. So while we're working, if you feel emotional, just go, great. Even if you don't like the feeling, just go, great, I'm releasing it. And just be mindful. And a lot of you are familiar with the concept of mindfulness. When you're mindful, you just notice something, but you don't analyze it. You don't do anything with it. You just acknowledge it. So if emotions are coming up, just go, oh, good, acknowledge them and leave them alone. They're coming up because they're old stuff to be released. So just let them go. And like I say, you may or may not be enjoying the feeling as you're releasing it, but it actually, when you recognize you're releasing it, it's like, even when you don't like the feeling, it's like, oh, good, that's leaving my energy field. Fantastic. Yeah, and if by the end of the coach-a-thon you're not feeling okay, let me know, but just let these things release. Okay, Julia, if you'd unmute. Oh, I'm sorry, one other thing. When I call on you, don't give me a whole story. Just tell me a little bit. If I need more information, I'll ask. Remember, we're working energetically. So, if you think of Romeo and Juliet, the story, it'd be like this boy and this girl fall in love. Their parents hate them, hate them being in love. That's enough. I don't need to know the history of the families. So the shorter you make it, the better. The more you'll get out of it, and the more people I'll be able to help. Okay, now I really mean it. Julia, if you'd unmute. Okay, so sometimes people are having trouble unmuting, so I'll come back to you later. Terry, would you unmute? And by the way, if you're on camera, that's great. I appreciate it. You don't have to be. I mean, it's nice, but you don't have to be. Terry, go ahead.
Hi, Art. Thank you. I have a gut condition, Crohn's and IBD, and loss of muscle tone. And I have this underlying malaise of worry. Not a lot, but enough that doesn't have me feel as much joy and love.
Great. Good job of tight description. Thank you. So affirm you're giving permission for all of these things to improve. And for everybody, I'm certainly not guaranteeing everything will happen in this one session. I can pretty much guarantee we'll at least make it better. So it sounds like such a truism, but sometimes these body metaphors are correct. And so what I'm hearing is there is something you're having trouble digesting about life. And I think you know what it is. So let's work on that. one of the skills, and it's a tough one we work on in the energetic NLP programs, is trying to accept that what is, and then we can try to change it. But starting, because as soon as we get into resistance to things, you all know the saying, what we resist persists. Okay, the energy is starting to move. Here we go. And by the way, when I describe things to people, this is my perception of things. I'm not saying it's the ultimate truth. There's some anger that you've turned inward on yourself, anger about what you have or haven't done in your life. In that's not a bad thing if we acknowledge, like, okay, there's something to learn from that. And then being able to let go of the anger part of it and just accept our past is what it was, and that we're moving on from here. And I know I'm saying things that you know consciously, but I'm reminding your unconscious mind and your energy field. But I keep hearing, you're a really nice person. It's like my guides are going, we don't want you to be mad at yourself. You're a nice person. Yes, there's things to regret, as we all have. There we go. Now you're letting go of stuff. There's also a little bit of, and this is real common, sometimes we physicalize things to get our own attention, but it's even more like it gives it significance. So just be clear in yourself that you don't need these symptoms to remind you anymore. I mean, you strike me as much more self-aware than your average person, and you're going to continue to keep opening that up. So just remind yourself, like, I'll give kind of a weird comparison. Mosquitoes love me. They absolutely love me. So when I get a mosquito bite, I've learned, once I put the repellent on or gone inside or whatever, is I'll talk to the bite in my body and go, thank you for getting my attention. I put on the repellent or I've gone inside. You can stop doing that now. And it isn't the bite necessarily completely goes away, but the itching goes way down. It stops getting worse. Because I just recognize where you're trying to get my attention, you got it. And now you can, better to leave it alone. So just remind your spirit, your unconscious mind, it's gotten your attention. You're working on it. And that's what you're doing right now. Here we go. You've also taken a lot of karma on from other people and groups. What I'm getting it from past lives where you were taught to do that. That the kind of the martyrdom kind of healing that most of us were taught in past lives, that I'll take on the karma, So this being the new age, we can do it differently. So imagine just giving that karma to the earth and let the earth transmute it. You don't have to take on the karma and run it through you. You can just give it to the earth or God or the sun or whatever appeals to you, and let it be transmuted. And just be clear, like, it's no longer even good for the world to do this old way of healing where we take on stuff for other people. There you go. How are you feeling right now? Your energy's starting to really shift.
I feel a little lighter.
Good.
Less heavy.
Excellent. We're going to do some more work with it, but that's what I would have hoped you'd say. Yeah. And make a note to yourself. There's something called the inner smile technique that this Taoist teacher used to teach it. I don't know if it's from Taoism, but you smile and then you imagine sending it to different parts of your body. So numerous times a day, and you can just take a minute, like Send smiles down to your digestive tract, different parts of it. Keep sending it love, sending it smiles, affirming that it has the ability to work really well. Because this is for everybody. When we're having problems with part of our body, often we're not sending that part of the body love enough. Just keep sending love to it. And it's almost like I see your stomach, intestines going, we're working really hard to take care of this. So love, appreciation, and just encouragement. Because you actually have a very strong body. It's just processing a lot. So we're going to move a lot of that out of your space. And do you pay attention to your diet in terms of what? Yeah, good. And for everybody, it's easy when we get into mental and energetic techniques sometimes to ignore the other things like getting enough sleep, eating the right things. So I just like to periodically mention that.
I would say getting enough sleep would be my biggest challenge right now.
Yeah.
Well, along with the gut.
Yeah. Somebody put in the chat that you're looking lighter. How are you feeling now?
I'm able to access my inner smile.
Yay.
It feels good. Things that I have known in the past and haven't brought back together. So I appreciate your bringing it in, but also I know that things are getting unhooked that I couldn't unhook. So I appreciate the assistance in that.
You're very welcome. And I love the way you express that, because there's just a lot, like in the programs I teach, some people go, I want to be able to do everything for myself. And I'll go, well, yes, I teach people how to do things for themselves, and I teach people how to get other people to help them, by having a community, because some things, I'll work on it for myself, and a friend of mine go, they're taken care of. So it's that dance. And what you said about finding your smile, that clarified kind of images I was getting, which is that, and this isn't just about you, to affirm more that you have a lot of happiness and joy in you, and just keep affirming it. And even sometimes when it's a little, even if you have to talk yourself into it, like, I'm so happy, and I'm not talking about suppressing things, but just reminding yourself, because it feels like that is part of your nature. And the more you say hello to it, the stronger it gets.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
The
you.
energy will keep working with you, and we'll go into Ilona. How should I be saying it?
Yes, Alana. Hi. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I am having everything is very, very challenging. I have lots of blocks in me where I'm unable to do anything. And like send an email takes me a long time to do. sending writing up something that I need to, it's just everything is overwhelming and everything is very exhausting and tiring. So
got it. Okay. We'll give permission to receive the benefits on this.
And sorry, one more thing. And my mind is like, I have a hard time remembering anything and I have a hard time focusing as well. So.
And part of that is going around. The energy is really shifting a lot in the world right now. And a lot of people, have problems remembering things and focusing. So some of it is your stuff and some of it is you're responding to what's going on in the world. And both of those can be worked on. So just give your miraculous self 100% permission to be in charge. So you don't need to figure anything out. This is a spa, relax. And I'm working on the energetic and unconscious components of this. There's some of the kind of basic things that get taught would really help you. So it's like, that the drive is always to do all these different things at once, writing down a list of what you're going to do and, in order and just going, I'm only focusing on this right now. This is only the email. Okay, next is this. Because your mind keeps trying to take you 5 directions at once. And that's why everything takes so long. Or that's a big part of it. So that kind of mechanical thing that a lot of us resist doing, but it really does work. Of like, okay, here's what I need to do, make it into little tasks and just do them one at a time. And just go, I'm focusing on this, I'm focusing on that. That'll help a lot. I mean, what we're going to energetically will really matter, but you can retrain your brain to focus more and just, but don't make that a big task. Just make it something that you'll actually, I think, enjoy it once you do it, because it just makes everything simpler. And it's like, I know I've been taught, like, if I plan out what I'm going to be doing the next morning, like very specifically, I get 1,000,000 times more done, if I actually get myself to do it. And there's some real childhood and family programming lit up where all of this gets attached to survival, and which is common for people to do that. But a lot of that attachment's inappropriate or not useful and not accurate. So with your permission, we're going to rewire a lot of that.
Thank you.
And of course, your miraculous self is the one doing the rewiring, not me. And part of what's going on is there's a part of you that really wants you to be doing something that you're not doing, and finding times to do even just little bits of it at a time will really help, because it's trying to get you to get everything else done so you can do this other thing, rather than I'm not saying this is what it is, but it's like I've worked with people that want to be writing, but they don't have time. So even if they start writing for 5 minutes a day, they start getting more done and they feel better. So there's something you're really there's a deep drive for, and even spending a little time on it each day will take a lot of the pressure off. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, good. So let's just make more space for that. And
Like
again,
even like cleaning up was also like super overwhelming.
yeah. Well, there's all this pressure about doing it right and everything. And again, there's always something else that should be happening. People that are highly productive, one of the things that when you interview them, they'll talk about is whatever they're doing right then, they just pretend in their mind there's nothing else. Everything else is gone. I'm doing this, and that's something, it takes practice. There we go. And there's a lot of anxiety energy that you absorb from other people. And this is for everybody. We absorb emotional energies from other people, and then we have trouble dealing with it because it's not our stuff. We can handle it or suppress it maybe, but we can't really work with it. It's not ours. So we're releasing a lot of this anxiety energy from your body and your energy field because it's not yours. And you don't need to do it for somebody. It can go into the earth. Earth can transmute it. Take a couple easy, slow breaths. And by the way, I'm getting breathing techniques could really help you. And if you go on YouTube or something and look up breathing techniques, there's hundreds of them. They would really help a lot. Ones that center and calm, and for everybody, a simple way to do that. I'm no expert on breathing techniques. Is you breathe in and then you just do a long exhale. Is one way. That tends to quiet us down. When you want to energize, you can do the opposite. Long inhale and a short exhale. But there's a lot of techniques. Here we go. In a moment, I'm going to go to the next person. Now, the energy is going to keep working with you, but how are you feeling right now?
I feel things moving, but I don't feel lighter yet.
Yeah, but things are moving. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So we'll keep the energy going. To your credit, you took on a whole bunch of stuff from other people. So you're doing remarkably well considering everything you took on. No, I mean that seriously. It's like, wow, that would have just crushed a lot of people. And you don't need to take it on. So just keep going. It's just going into the earth. Mama Earth will transmute the energy. It's not going to hurt the earth.
How do I prevent from taking it on?
I don't have a short answer for that. A lot of you know about, I have this free program, blockbuster7.com. Somebody can put the link in the chat. It's blockbuster7.com. You can use those with the intention of not taking on stuff from other people, and that will keep getting better. And Lynn put in there a good breathing technique you can check out. Okay, but the energy is going to keep working with you. And
Thank
later
you so
in the
much.
chat, if you want, you can let me know.
Thank you.
Okay. Lynn, if you'd unmute. Oh, and Kim mentioned havening could also help, and you can look that up on YouTube, havening. Lynn.
Hello, Art. I'm so glad to be here and just want to encourage everybody to clear their calendars for Dyma if you can. And watch Blockbuster. It doesn't have an S. I just want to make sure I input it. Is it Blockbuster or Blockbusters?
Single.
7. Okay, good. I did it right. So about me.
Yes.
Two things. Since my year of M Club and continuing on, I've been clearing in preparation of getting myself ready to bring in the relationship and the man of my deepest desires. And so I just like to look, because I've actually started to do an online platform. And so I just like you to look to see on the deeper levels.
Got it. And Lynn's familiar with what I'm about to ask. What would you say the permission level is for that to happen right now?
Probably 80%, maybe.
Yeah, I would say
You tell me, maybe a lot
I think
lower.
a lot lower. So it's
Okay. Great. Let's work on that, please.
yeah, let's work on that.
I think it's connected to at this point, at this time in life, is it really going to happen? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's some of that, but what I'm seeing more, one big piece of it is just kind of an inertia, kind of being used to and being used to and pretty comfortable with how you are right now. Which is normal. So you can just say hello to that and just be clear in your mind that's not what you want. I mean, this is a very different comparison, but because of COVID, I went from traveling all the time to not traveling. And I would realize even just flying LA to San Francisco, I'd make a big deal out of it.
I drive
across the country for the weekend, and now I'm back into the swing of things. But to just remind the part of you that's feeling the inertia, like, yeah, that's fine, but that's not what you really want,
Yes. I love that. Thank you so much.
Okay, so energy is gonna work on all. There's some contracts up, a number of contracts. Let's work on those. And I keep getting this, I'm going to say it this way. There's this comedian who has a whole routine about owning a dog. And part of the thing, he goes, you come home and your dog looks at you like, oh, it's you, that it's owning that there are, well, I'm going to say one person, there could be more than one, but there's people out there, there are men out there that they might not immediately know it. At some point when they get to know you, and it might be immediate, and they might get to know you a little better first, but at some point they're going to go, oh, it's you, and just really own that, that there are men that, would crawl across broken glass for you,
Thank you, Art.
what they want,
Yeah, I love it. Thank you.
And if you need to forget how much we have to offer another person. And I always like to tell women, as men get older, we're not, well, some men are, but most of us are not as shallow as we were when we were young. So, people are looking for different things as we get older. Here we go. And of course, any of you that are wanting new relationships or improved relationships, let the energy come in and let this light you up and clear blocks in you and enable I don't think of it so much as like calling somebody in. I mean, that's one way to think of it. It's more like, that their spirit and your spirit are going to go, oh, how do we get our bodies together? And they're going to
Yes.
figure it out,
Yes. Exactly.
So-
Yeah, I figure he's been on the planet for 60 plus years,
Yeah.
wondering where I am.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that, and just ask your miraculous self, like, to arrange it with somebody else that you meet. And there we go. That's better.
Yay. Yeah, I'm feeling it.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Uh, lots of new energy is coming to the fore, and just my optimism around this issue has just like started to light up. And I was
Fantastic.
working with my meter to say yes,
Yeah.
this, so and I've something else that
Permission
I'll ask.
level.
Yeah, permission
I love that.
level much higher. And I have another thing, but I'll just handle it at Dyma.
Yeah.
Because you've got
Great.
lots
Well,
of people. So thank you, Art.
You're welcome. And the energy will keep working with you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And let me call on Wilma. If you can unmute.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can.
I'm actually happy that I'm following Lynn because I got a hit on something when you asked her about the permissioning level.
Mm,
My big issue is I know I have a block to money that I can't release on my own, and I've had this excruciating pain lately on the right side of my face. And I've been trying to clear it on my own, and I got a vision like a dog's teeth, and I had a feeling that there's some energy that doesn't want to leave me, that's literally clamping down.
yeah.
And so when you talked to Lynn and said, what's the permission level? I had like an aha. I think there's a part of me that isn't giving me permission to receive the money I want.
That's very perceptive. And let's work on that. But 10 points for figuring that out. I mean, I'm serious. It's great. What is it? 50 points to Gryffindor or whatever. Take it easy, deep breath. And for everybody, while I'm working on it, energies will appear that way sometimes, like they're glommed onto you in some way. And they can only be glommed on because they're hooking to something in us: karma, spiritual contracts, beliefs, programming, which is why we emphasize so much clearing, all that stuff. There we go. by the way, that energy thinks it's helping. And just in your mind, tell the dog, like, well, I know you think you're helping, but you're not. Thank you for the thought. And it's not actually helping. Here we go. There's a lot of karma involved with this, but that's dissolving, and contracts. We'll work with all this stuff here.
What's interesting is that I know that I have a great gift to share with the world. I have no idea what it is, and I'm in my late 60s. And I feel that once I uncover my gift, the floodgates are going to open for me.
Mhm.
So now while I can even feel my energy shifting while I'm sitting here talking to you. So I'm wondering if that excruciating pain on the side of my face is energy that doesn't want to leave, because once I step into and allow my gifts.
Yeah, I wouldn't overanalyze it at the moment. Just be aware of it, and let's clear what it's hooked into.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people can relate to this idea. I know, in periods of my life, that same feeling, like, I know I have gifts. I'm not sure what they are yet. And, I have so much to offer. I just haven't unleashed it yet or discovered it yet. There we go. Part of this too, there's some ancestral programming that's come down that I would call it superstitious programming. It's like, it's interesting that this is Halloween month. It's very, it's got that kind of flavor of these old superstitions. There we go. Starting to loosen. How are you feeling now?
I'm feeling a lot of energy clearing in my heart space and up through my throat. And I just now had a lot of saliva in my mouth. So I think there's some energy that's coming up and leaving. And it's funny, when you use the word unleashed, I got a very big pop of positive energy, immediately followed by feeling like I want to vomit. So something was let go there. It's so interesting.
Well, and I like this is for everybody, that you get that sometimes the strong reactions, like feeling want to vomit, is actually a good sign, like, oh, something's really getting released. Yeah, one of the things you can do is keep asking for guidance, you know, and let go of that you have to necessarily figure it all out. But, you know, that, you know, you can set your intention that things become clear. It's like I discovered NLP because there was a flyer on a bulletin board. And as soon as I read the words, it felt like a bolt of lightning hit me. And I wasn't looking for that or anything like it really, but it appeared, you know, I was asking for guidance and help, and I got it. You know? So I just keep getting, you know, you know, just keep imagining, not even so much asking for guidance and help, but just imagine that it's, you know, like every morning we'll wake up and kind of go, oh, there's going to be some guidance today, you know, and just see what happens. Or before you go to bed, oh, there's going to be guidance tomorrow, or in my sleep. Because I think it's good that you're focused on it, but there's that balance between making things happen and allowing it to be more miraculous. And so allow it to also be more miraculous. A friend of mine who was very successful in life, he used to tell me, he goes, Art, I have a deal with the universe. I tell it what it wants, and when it shows me what to do, I do it. So the kind of that dance, does that make sense?
It does, absolutely. I'm feeling a lot more heat in my heart now, so I believe something is continuing to clear. And
yeah.
I'm popping back to that permission question that you used with Lynn. I honestly believe that from hearing you ask her that question to you now working on me, that there's something in me that's shifted that is going to allow me to give myself permission to receive.
Yeah, you've shifted quite a bit, and I'll keep the energy going with you. I'm going to call on the next person, but you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for this.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Appreciate it.
And I think Julia's here now. So Julia, if you want to unmute. There you are.
Hi, thank you, Art. I'm so sorry. Yeah, a lot's been coming up for me. And I think, and I am feeling like positive shifts are happening, and thanks to you in this program as well. I'm in DIMA also, so I'm very excited. What I'm struggling with at this point is I'm still dealing with regret and about the past and some pain about where it's led me, but it's also it's this idea of feeling that I matter, and that I have the right to speak up for myself and get my needs met.
Mhm.
And
Right.
I've had a couple situations come up where I was kind of dismissed and discounted.
So
And
right now, that's all I need to
Yep.
know.
Yep.
And, yeah. So again, we want to increase your awareness that you do matter. You have a right to be here. You have a right to seek happiness in life and abundance and love and health, etc. Let's take a couple easy deep breaths. And I'll just say for you and for everybody, lots and lots of people energetically or unconsciously have a programming about not having rights to exist, not having rights to be happy, abundance, et cetera, et cetera. And those are very common programs.
and
So
apologies, and then I guess the crux too is just this idea that I'm not the prize, right? That I have to
so
earn love.
again, I have plenty of information.
Okay.
It's all tied in together. So let's just work on it. Now we're working on all kinds of levels for your conscious mind. And this is for anybody who has regret come up. Start practicing them when regrets come up, just kind of ask yourself, and you can reword this if you want, but when the regret comes up, go, okay, what can I learn from this that I can apply to my present and future? And so the problem with regret is it keeps us stuck on the past. The value in regret is whatever we learn from it that we can apply now and in the future. So don't try to fight regrets when they come up, acknowledge them and go, okay, what's the learning in here? How can I apply it now and in the future? And just keep, what you'll do is you'll set up a new unconscious program in yourself where the regret triggers something positive. Because again, for everybody, that the function of regret is, whatever we can learn that would make a difference now and in the future, so that we don't have that same kind of regret so it's about refocusing the time frame. So it's honoring the regret and immediately coming into the present and future, but not coming to the present like, oh, this is why things are the way they are. And it's like, okay, what can I learn from it that I can apply now and apply in the future? And if you do that, if you start practicing that, at a certain point, it will become automatic. And there's something, this is for everybody, called mental rehearsal. It's a big part of NLP. And you literally mentally rehearse this. So in this case, you would imagine getting regret. You'd immediately think, okay, what can I learn? How can I apply that now and in the future? And then once you've done that, you stop and give a little break, look around the room, do it again, take a little break, do it again, take a little break. And what happens is you start establishing a new pattern in your mind where your mind learns, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do with regrets. I'm supposed to think about what I can do now and in the future. And if you mentally rehearse that, at a certain point, it will become automatic. But what you don't want to do for any of you is when things like that come up is suppress them or fight them. Oh, I'm feeling regret. I'm not saying you do this, but a lot of people, oh, I'm feeling regret. I don't want to feel regret. I shouldn't feel regret. Oh, this is why my life's messed up. Then you're just like the hamster in the cage. But if you turn it into a learning and things that you could do, you're retraining your mind how to make it into a positive. So I'm going to work on the energetic level too here. Okay, and how are you feeling, Julia?
Calm. I noticed I was yawning quite a bit.
Great. Yawning's a very
Yeah.
good sign. So we'll keep the energy going. And you're working on a lot. There's a lot of past life stuff. And I'm glad you're going to be in Daima because you get an opportunity to really thoroughly do things. But you released a lot so far today, and you're going to release more and starting to heal it. But that process of retraining yourself how you handle regrets, when you do that mental rehearsal, it's going to have a huge payoff. Huge payoff.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Okay, hang on. My computer keeps doing things on its own. Hold on. So I'm going to call on Christina. Oh, actually, let me call on Catherine next.
Thanks, Art.
You're welcome.
I've been experiencing a lot of sadness, hurt, and anger over just the difficulties of my first 36 years of my life.
Mhm.
I'd like help in releasing that.
Great. So you said sadness and anger, was it?
Resentment, yeah, even
Oh,
just maybe bitterness over choosing this life. I feel bad about that, but I hope, it's not a subconscious thing.
Yeah. And it's funny, one of my mentors, Leslie Cameron Bandler, when we'd work on emotions, which is something we're working a lot in the M Club, is that we feel bad about feeling something. It's sort of like, no, that's the way you feel, that's the way you feel. A lot of that energy is not yours. And I'm going to work on you energetically, but I can't resist from for some of us that are a bit older than you, it's like 36, you're a punk.
I'm turning 39. I just feel like it's
then.
3 years of goodness, but like it's not a lot in comparison to the rest.
Well, you got a number of years left. It's different. I had a client once come in and she was only like 26, I think. And she goes, I feel like a failure. And I started laughing. And she goes, why are you laughing? I go, you're not old enough to be a failure. And sure enough, like a year later, she was like in Harvard Medical School or something. So take a deep breath and let's, and I'm in no way discounting. I mean, that 36 years is 36 years, but there will be a point at which you go like, well, then everything started getting better. And nowadays that could be a lot of years left. So let's help you let go of the bitterness and I am getting to say to you that at some point in the future, you're going to look back on your life and see how everything unfolded and honor it, even the parts you hated. That when you see the whole trajectory of your life, you're going to see how it fits in and how it will have led you to a really good life, rather than thinking that it was like a mistake or something that held you back. You did a lot of spiritual work came out of it. And, and I think we're moving to a time where more and more we're able to grow spiritually and personally with less of the trauma and negative stuff. But I just am being told, I should say it, but when I'm being told, I get what I call executive summaries. I don't know if it's coming from my spirit or my guides or God. I don't know where it comes from, but it tends to be very accurate. And of course, it's always my, what am I trying to say? It'll have my spin on it. But I'm getting real strongly. There'll be a point in your life, not that long from now, where you'll start connecting the dots and kind of go, well, I'll give you an example. There's a book called Gifts of Fire, I think, or Gifts from Fire. And I have to admit, I haven't read it. I heard the guy who wrote it speak about it. And when he was a little kid, he was severely burned. I mean, horribly burned, and had to go through all kinds of surgeries and stuff. And in this video, he's talking about, he goes, but my family and I have talked about it. If we could go back in a time machine and change it, we wouldn't, because eventually it led to incredible spiritual growth and being really happy for all of us. So he goes, if I could get in a time machine and go back and save the younger me, I wouldn't, which is pretty amazing. And I think there'll be a point at which you're going to say something similar, like, that if I could change it, I wouldn't, because it's gotten me to, where I am now is such an amazing place that I wouldn't mess with it. Okay, so now a lot of energy is loosening up. I'm getting, by the way, that you're on the verge of quite an amazing transformation, a whole leap in your personal spiritual development. And by the way, if I don't say that to other people, that doesn't mean that that's not true for you. But I just get what I'm guided to say, and I am getting that they want you to get that you're really on the. I think you sense that you're on the verge of it. Is that correct?
Yeah, I get information from the divine through card readings and nature. So yeah, I'm aware, but I also don't have a job, so I might be homeless soon if that doesn't come through.
Yeah, and let's see if we can work on that too. Part of what will help with that, and I'm not saying that you're going to become homeless, but what I'm not seeing in your space is like this determination that you're not going to become homeless, period. Because you're putting some of the power outside of you now, which I can understand, but you have more options than just that one job. And, if you just get really clear, like, not going to happen, and I'll do what it takes. It'll help the energy and shift things a lot.
Okay.
It's already starting to look a little better. Just be really clear, like, I'm not going to let that happen. You may have to get creative around it, but you'll, yeah. I don't see any need for that to happen. Have you ever seen this Will Smith movie called Pursuit of Happiness?
Maybe once.
Yeah, it might be worth watching again. And for everybody, it's kind of a harrowing, I don't know what gets to the word. It's an intense story that has a super happy ending, and it's a true story. And for part of the time he does become homeless, but he's just really clear that he's going to pull his life together. And if you've seen it, like the whole scene where he has to go in with paint all over him into that interview. So it'd be worth watching again to just remind yourself that, like, to just be clear, like, you're just not going to let yourself that happen to you, and that you have more options than that one job. Because again, I just keep getting a sense you've given away too much of the power, and you need to take it back. And just ask for a download from your miraculous self to help you with this.
Okay.
And it can come in now and when you're sleeping tonight. So I will keep working with you, but how are you feeling right now?
Hopeful, light.
Yeah, I think you have a great future in front of you. And like I say about the home thing, part of it is just being determined, and
Yeah.
I look back on my own life at times when I was really determined on something. You're not fighting the universe, but just like that's not going to happen, or that is going to happen, and then getting creative around it. And kind of that, maybe the opposite of that Pursuit of Happiness movie is all the kind of heroic-y movies like Indiana Jones kind of movies. They're all about somebody who's got a clear goal in mind, and everything keeps going wrong the whole time, but they just keep, but he's clear all the time about what sooner or later what he wants is going to happen. And any adventure kind of thing is that way. It's like they have this overarching goal and everything keeps going wrong, but eventually it all works out because they never lose sight of the goal. But they get creative about trying different things until something works.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'm telling you things but a lot of, like my teachers tell us, like, a lot of what we do is tell you what you already know so that you grab a hold of it.
It's all been helpful.
Good.
Thank you.
Sure. And Sarah. Sarah. Oh,
Hi, Art. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was me. Yeah, thank you. Everyone's had some really beautiful shares. I think I just like to keep it open. Yeah, just feel lucky to have this space. So thank you. Whatever's up for them.
For everybody, what Sarah's just saying is leaving it open for whatever her miraculous self and my miraculous self want to cook up here. They're doing a lot of work now, starting to on your solar plexus and your heart chakras. And I don't know what the content is, but some aspect of your life where it's almost like you're in something sticky like gum or tar, and they're just working to unstick you in that, whatever that aspect of your life is. How are you feeling now, Sarah?
yeah, I feel like the energy kind of rose a bit. Um, yeah, I feel a bit more clear.
Yeah, we'll keep working with it, but you release a fair amount of stuff, but there's still some gunk, but we'll keep working with it.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. And I will go, we're supposed to end in about 10 minutes, but I will go a bit longer and try to get more of you in. And I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right. Maja, am I saying it right?
Hello,
Yes.
Maya. It's Maya.
Oh, yes,
Hello.
sorry.
I was wondering if you could work on relationships. I have problems with relationships with my daughters.
Mm.
Yes,
Okay.
and I think it's my ex-husband's energy blocking us or involved in these relationships.
Okay. Yeah. Let me see what we can do here. I'm sorry to hear it, and let's see what we can do.
Okay.
Okay, how are you feeling now?
I feel much better, thank you. I feel like a lot is out of my shoulders, out of my breast,
Mm,
in the heart. It's like releasing energy. Thank you.
very good. Yeah, you're welcome, and we'll keep it going.
Okay, thank you.
And Liza.
Hi, Art. Yeah, when you were working with Catherine, it definitely light up a lot of things in me. But I was just wondering if I could put my M in charge and whatever your M and I wanted to work on. Thanks.
Absolutely. And again, for everybody, you can always do that. Just your M, your miraculous self, and just say whatever it wants. And in energetic NLP, we call it M and M. So my miraculous self and her miraculous self are communicating and figuring out what to do. And her miraculous self is in charge, of course. There we go. Just releasing a whole lot of, it's like some kind of structure in your energy that it may have been helpful at one point, but it's not now. And this kind of like whole structure is coming on. Kind of like a snake shedding its skin kind of thing, just shedding this structure. It's still going on, but how does that feel?
Yeah, no, that feels, yeah, I feel a lot lighter already. And I'm noticing a lot less tension in my forehead.
Excellent. Well, we'll keep working with you. In Tonya.
Hi.
Hey.
So I guess today what I'd like to look at is I'm certified in NLP and hypnotherapy. I started my business a year ago, paid lots of coaches, and I'm at a point where I've never made one sale yet after working really hard for a year. I don't know if it's because this isn't meant for me or if I have money blocks that are holding me back or
Okay.
sales blocks. I'm not sure.
Yeah, let's take a look. And you're doing things to get business, promote your business?
I've been trying a lot of things from different coaches' suggestions.
Oh, right. At least some of your coaches and stuff, and this isn't unusual, some of what I think more about how you do coaching. I think people are kind of telling you to do it in a way that's a little off for you. And do you have a sense of what I'm talking about? That it's like you're fitting into, I mean, when you learn coaching systems and stuff, on one hand, you want to learn what they're doing and how to do it. But sometimes you have to go, yeah, that doesn't feel right for me, a certain aspect of it. Do you know what I'm talking about? Because something's glitching. And can you adjust it or give yourself permission to do it more the way that feels good, right, appropriate for you?
Yes, but at this point, after a year of like trying things, I'm just kind of feel lost now. You know, like I don't even know what direction anymore.
Yeah, no, I can appreciate that. Clearing some of this stuff, but take some time to just imagine if you know, assuming you could have all the business you wanted and that wasn't an issue, how would you do it? How would you do the work with people? And just don't try to be realistic at first, but just well, I can give you an example for me. My M Club, my year-long training. Every business coach tells me I'm doing it wrong because it's people can join during the first part of it, but then for the rest of the year, at a certain point, no new people can join. And every business coach goes, I know you should let people join, have rolling enrollment the whole time. And they're right, I would make more money that way. And it would still be a good program, but it wouldn't be the same thing. And I was talking to one recently, was again telling me I'm doing it wrong and going, I understand what you're saying, but there's some point when you have one group of people for a year and no new people after a certain point, you know, that you do things that just don't happen if people keep coming in new. And all these coaches are always telling me that I shouldn't do it that way, but I want to do it that way, you know. And it's looking at however you're approaching things and thinking more like, what are the parts that just don't feel quite right for you? And think of how you'd like to do it. And then I know for me, when I started working with people, you know, I would start with, you know, friends and stuff who'd be guinea pigs. And then I started putting out the word that, you know, I was developing a new practice. So, you know, I'd let people know, yes, I can help them. And because it's a new practice, I'm doing it very inexpensively to start building it. And I would start by putting a price out there that I knew that they were going to get way more value than what I was charging, you know. And so, you know, I just kind of worked my way up into it. And it just feels like, and we're clearing some of it out. Some of what you've learned from these coaches has been good, but some of it just doesn't fit you. So there's this like battle going on. And that when you start allowing yourself to do it the way you think it should be done, it will help open up the energy. Yeah, let's see what's your reaction to what I've said so far?
I can understand that. I know one thing that I've tried to get volunteers from my like friends and family, you know, off of Facebook and stuff, but I actually, and I've offered to do it for free, and I couldn't even get people who want to do it for free, like to volunteer.
Oh, you know, that's not that easy necessarily. I mean, I have one friend who actually died a few years ago, but I just tell people he helped make my career because he was always willing to be my guinea pig. You know, and a lot of people were not, you know.
Sure.
Don't let that discourage you. I mean, I think things will open up quite a bit when you give yourself permission to do it in a way that you feel really good about. So like when I started, go ahead.
Okay.
No, I want
what I really have wanted to do that I feel, because I like truly connecting with people. I've always felt like I connect well with people, and I really would like to do retreats where I help people. And because then I got good close proximity, more connection for, a amount of time with people, and I feel more can be done that way. But I've felt hesitant to try to arrange any of them without having any base built first, because obviously you're at a risk if you're trying to
Right.
get
No,
resorts booked and stuff.
Yeah, and I'm not saying to jump to that, but think about how close can you get to it. Maybe somebody would volunteer a house, or maybe it's only 3 people the first time, so something where you're not shelling money out.
Right.
But they give you the experience of it, or it could be doing it online. So like my Dime this weekend, it's all online. And it's essentially a retreat in many ways, but and yes, it's wonderful to have a retreat and do it in Tahiti or something. But
right.
There you can start approaching it, but I now understand part of what I was getting. So like when I started NLP, there was a lot of pressure, like to change somebody's life at one session, and if I didn't completely take care of a problem in one session, I felt like I kind of failed, even though their life was better, and then luckily my mentor, Leslie Cameron Bandler, finally at one point goes, "Oh, I never have believed that. And, I think you should see people more than one session, for a lot of reasons, even if it's just to follow up and make sure everything's good." But that kind of doing it one session thing always glitched with me, and I should have listened to that. And I just feel like, and the same with even how you market things and stuff. You want to learn from people, but at the same time, if it just doesn't feel right to you, it's one thing like sometimes people don't want to make phone calls to people or something that are prospects, and there it's more they're just hesitant, but there's things that you've been taught that just they glitch with you, so that when you give yourself permission to do it the way you want to do it, and or get at least closer to that, I think things will start opening up. And like I say, a retreat could be, if you can get somebody, in your own home or volunteer their house, and I mean, I've done programs that were 2 or 3 people, but it got the energy moving. And of course, they told other people about their experiences. So is that helpful?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So let me clear a little more of the energy out of your space, because you have a lot to offer people, but you're being twisted a bit by whenever I would take a business course, a friend of mine would kind of go, "Okay, we got to get all that programming out of your space." I mean, I'd learned some good things, but a lot of just their approach, I'm not saying it was bad or wrong, but it didn't fit my integrity and how I wanted to be in the world, and what,
Right.
and I think that's what's happening to you. There we go. You're starting to loosen up a little bit. Can you feel that? It's kind of like, and so just keep giving yourself permission to follow your own guidance, and and get just a little bit more creative around how you find volunteers. So, friends and family won't do it. You can kind of go, "Okay, who do you know who has an issue like this? Would you introduce me to them?" Kind of thing.
Sure.
Because sometimes people are much more likely to do that.
Okay.
I mean, my older brother's a great guy, but I've never done any work with him. I've worked with my sister-in-law, my mother, my older brother. It's like, and we love and respect each other, but for some reason, maybe because I'm his little brother, it's like he's just not open to it. But other people are.
Right.
And you'll start getting better responses too, the more you're like owning your authenticity and your knowing. Okay.
Yep.
Great.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And let me, Ryan, if you'd unmute.
Hi, Art.
Hey, Ryan.
So revisiting something old, but I'm really working on continuing to get healthier. One of the things that I keep running into is sort of my own commitment and compliance with, sticking to the plan and kind of keeping a compelling future vision. And I just kind of get disconnected, and I'm just looking for any help there.
Yep. And I know Ryan well, so pardon me for a second, Ryan. I realized I hadn't put the link for Dyma in lately, so I'm just putting the link in. Yeah, so I do want to encourage people to do that. Okay, coming back to you, Ryan. And by the way, we'll go probably about another 10 minutes. After Ryan, we'll do a quick group meditation, and then I might have time to call maybe one or two other people. But part of it, Ryan, is, I can certainly relate to this in aspects of my life. It's kind of like you are and aren't motivated to do what you just asked for. And part of that is, in NLP terms, it's like make the future really compelling. In NLP, this is called negative and positive compelling futures. And sometimes people resist the negative one. And what it is you first imagine the thing you want to be motivated to do, and you make sure that you're capable of doing it, because you don't want motivation if you just can't do it. And then you imagine the future, and you imagine all the bad things that are going to happen if you don't take care of this, or that could happen, and you really amp it up. And a lot of times people go, "Oh, am I going to make it happen?" Like, no. But you really kind of rub your nose in it, if you will. But it's a very powerful thing when you do it well. So I remember one time many, many years ago, I needed to make a big change in my life, and I was resisting it. And I just would really meditate, and I would talk to my unconscious mind and go, here's what's likely to happen if I don't change this. And I just really got into all the possible terrible effects of it over time. And just made it really vivid. Like when you watch a movie where you see somebody who, how some movies people are doing things that create really negative futures for themselves, and you can see it coming, but they're doing it anyways. So you show your unconscious mind, like, here's what could happen, and is maybe even likely to happen if I don't handle these things. Then you do the opposite, and you go, and if I do these things, and you make sure they're doable, here's the wonderful future I will have. And that can be really, really powerfully motivating. And you build up the positive more than the negative, but you don't ignore the negative, because most of us as human beings, we're motivated both by what we want to get away from and what we want to get towards. And often we don't make the towards, the goals, vivid enough in our mind, but we also don't make the downside vivid enough. And it can be doing a real favor to yourself. So like when we would work with people to quit smoking, we'd really have them build up how much healthier they'll be if they quit and what could happen if they don't. But we wouldn't do that until we'd equip them to be able to quit. And that the only thing that was left was motivation. So I'm working with you energetically too. But, and you could get somebody else from the M Club to take you through that. And it can help to have somebody ask you questions and really take you through it. And you want to really build up that your future self is dependent on you, and that you're saving your future self from this negative future and building up the positive one. Is that helpful?
Yes, and in fact, this is the second time I think I've gotten that answer. Although I do feel more capable and a lot closer than where I was a year ago or a year and a half ago in M Club or whatever it was.
Yeah, I agree. I think you now it's just a matter of making the motivation more visceral, so that
Yeah, exactly.
so like for me, there's a lot of heart disease in my family, and to eat a lot of like fried food, I'll eat some fried food, but to eat a lot of it is repulsive to me. I was doing some work in Louisiana, and I was teaching a workshop, and they took me out to dinner, and I ordered this plate, this dinner of local foods, and they come with this plate and everything's fried, and a big plate of all the, and it tasted good, but I'm looking at it, and to me, it looked like a heart attack on the plate. It was like, and it was a great feeling though, to kind of like, I don't even want to eat all that, tasting bits of it, but what I mean? So it wasn't willpower anymore. It was just kind of like, and I have friends like who exercise regularly that like not exercising is just really bothers them. They can make it a day or two, and then maybe, but then they've got to do it, and they're not forcing themselves. It's just they don't like the feeling of not doing it. So so I'll work some more on the energy, and I will say, somebody asked the thing. No, we don't record DIMA. DIMA is intended to be a community group live event. It's just online. So I don't make the recordings available because it's something, I have tons of recordings of different things, but M Club and well, people in the M Club get the recordings, but that's because they've also been at the actual events. So let's, I want to do a group energy work before we end. So everybody take some easy deep breaths, and whatever it is you want to work on, and I apologize for the people I haven't been able to call upon, but you can get the work done right now. So take some easy deep breaths and set your intention, give permission for your miraculous self to be in charge, and just let the energy come in and help you with whatever you want. We're going to do this meditation, and then we're going to do a couple of short meditations to kind of pull everything together for you and to get you on the path of even more happening tonight when you're sleeping. So. Take a couple of easy deep breaths. Okay, let energy come in to help you process and integrate the benefits of what you just did, because you're going to be processing them and improving them and enhancing them for at least for days. Set your intention and give permission that tonight and for the next 4 nights, part of the time when you're sleeping, your unconscious mind will review what you did in this session today. When it reviews it, your miraculous self will infuse it with wisdom, knowledge, concepts, skills, abilities, attitudes, and behaviors from your miraculous self, from your wisdom and spirit. While you're sleeping, the benefits will be made richer and deeper and wider. They'll be made higher and more multidimensional. And most importantly, while you're sleeping, the benefits will automatically be integrated into your mind, emotions, body, and energy field. So that while you sleep soundly, deeply, wake up feeling refreshed, the benefits will automatically be integrated into your mind, into your emotions, into your body, and into your energy field. And that can happen tonight and for the next 4 nights while you sleep soundly, deeply, wake up feeling refreshed. Let's dissolve the gold ball, our group energy space. It's very, very, very important that you ask your miraculous self to retrieve your energy out of all of our spaces, especially mine, but out of all of our spaces, and that we retrieve our energy out of yours. If you don't retrieve your energy, you'll be depleted and it's not good for other people. So just have your miraculous self bring your energy back. If anything it brings back, if your miraculous self doesn't want some of that energy, it can just send it into the earth to be recycled. And imagine from the heart of the earth, a column of energy comes up near the base of your spine, and let that be a grounding column of energy. Give the earth permission to ground only your authentic energy into your body. So you're giving the earth permission to ground only your authentic energy into your body. And a powerful way to imagine that is to imagine there's a point of light in your energy field for every cell in your body, and they get out of alignment. When the earth grounds you, every point of light pops back in the cell it belongs in, so that your energy body and physical body are lined up. And we have just a couple more things to do. I will mention in the chat, some people are asking about the M Club. That's my pride and joy, my year-long program. It's a personal transformation program, and people are learning how to do energetic NLP. I will be putting information out about that over the next few weeks. So if you signed up for this, you're on the mailing list and you'll hear about it. And DIMA starts Saturday morning, 9 a.m. California time, which is 5 p.m. in the UK, noon in the East Coast. And the whole schedule is on the webpage that I put in. I can put the link in again. And it's Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Monday's optional, highly encouraged. But even if you can just make Saturday and Sunday, you'll get a tremendous amount out of it, tremendous amount of clearing and growth and opening of your abilities just in those 2 days. And of course, if you can make Monday, it's so much the better. No schedule in the link. Did I give you the wrong link? Oh, I'm sorry. That's the wrong link. My apologies. Thank you for pointing that out. Let me put the right link in. Sheesh. That's not any good. Well, I'll put in the easy link. Give me a moment. Thank you for pointing that out. If you go to the word miraculous, number7.com, I just put it in. Let me make sure that one, I'll check. Yeah, that's the right page. I'm sorry. Yeah, so that's the one that has the whole schedule. If you scroll down, it's got all the information. It talks about different people's experiences and it goes into it in depth. So it's miraculous7.com. And thank you for pointing out that I put the wrong link in there. The link I put in is for the page where you sign up. So that's not very helpful if you haven't seen the other page. Let's see, anything else about that? Well, just that if you can make it, you know, you've seen in the chat and the consistent feedback I get from people, it's a life-changing experience. It's easy, it's fun, and it really will transform your life and help you unleash abilities that either you didn't know you had or that you're already using, but you'll take them to another level. And if you have any questions about it, you can email me. Let me put that in. It's at support@energeticnlp.com. Oop, I didn't spell it right. Give me one moment. Sorry, I should have had that all prepared for you. Yeah, so you can email and I'd be happy to get back to you about it, or Jessica, who's on the team, will get back to you about it. So I hope you can make it. If not, there'll be other kinds of, there won't be DIMA, but there'll be other things happening that you could get a lot of value out of in the future. Okay, so like I said, thank you for sticking around. We're going about a half hour late, so I apologize for that. And I hope you got a lot of value out of the session. The one last thing, there's a concept in energetic NLP we call spiritual emails. And when you do energetic NLP processes, your energy field is better, it's clearer, it's more authentic, and it's different than it used to be. And on the inner level, sometimes people and your pets notice like that something's different. And the way to make that something positive rather than something that a little confusing to people, you should send out spiritual emails. And it's a lot like if you've ever gotten an email from somebody that they've changed their email address, and they just send you an email and goes, I've changed my email address. Here's how you find me now. Here's the new address. And they're not asking you to approve of it or anything. They're just showing you. Well, spiritual emails, your miraculous self sends out little spiritual messages to everybody in your life, showing them what your energy field looks like now, so they recognize it. And so right now, ask your miraculous self to send out spiritual emails to everybody in your life, including the people you haven't met yet that your spirit wants you to meet, and including your pets and your plants. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being part of this. You had really lovely group energy. And it's one of the things, if you come to Diamond, that you'll enjoy. It's just, there'll be a terrific group energy. I'll leave the chat open for a while. I'd love to see your comments. Thank you so much for being part of this. And I look forward to seeing you in the future. So I'll leave the chat open, but I'm going to